Did you know it was an evangelical pastor who weaponized anti-abortion extremism, not as a biblical guide, but as a pathway to political power?
This is Abortion in Pictures.
This is Jerry Falwell, a racist Baptist pastor and Christian college president who partnered up with this guy, Bob Jones, another racist president of a Christian university. Up until 1988, Bob Jones would offer a flyer to new students that told why he believed all African Americans in the United States ought to be shipped to Africa. Falwell and Jones hated this guy, Jimmy Carter, the most Christian president of my lifetime. These guys hated Carter because his administration said they would no longer have access to federal funds like Pell Grants for their colleges if they didn't change rules that said things like white students can't date black students. This is Richard Nixon. Convinced black voters were never going to vote Republican, he began to go after Southern white Christians through use of a term, silent majority, and by demonizing people like hippies, Vietnam War protesters, and black people involved in civil rights battles. This is Paul Weyrich, a corrupt Republican political operative who believed many Americans should not be allowed to vote. He coined the term moral majority and talked to Falwell about the possibility of weaponizing abortion as a tool to manipulate Christian Southern white voters. This is Stuart Stevens, another Republican operative of the time who recently wrote a book called It Was All a Lie, in which he says he was at the table when Republicans decided using racist dog whistles and terms like traditional family values, welfare moms, and fatherlessness to get Southern white Christians to vote Republican. These are Baptists. In 1976 and 77, the Southern Baptist Conference voted their support for Roe v. Wade, calling abortion banning a Catholic issue. This is Billy Graham, an evangelical preacher. He also supported Roe v. Wade in the 70s as a tool for mercy for pregnant women and poor families. This is Ronald Reagan, who as governor of California signed into law the most liberal pro-choice bill in American history. But when the moral majority was formed, overnight this non-church-going divorced man suddenly became a staunch anti-abortionist family values candidate. And like this guy, Ronald Reagan never once darkened the door of a church in the years he was president of the United States as a family values guy. This is James Dobson, a psychologist trained in eugenics, a theory that says white people need to have more babies or else people of color will become the majority of America. Dobson formed an organization called Focus on the Family in order to tie anti-abortion extremism, misogyny, homophobia, and severe corporal punishment in the home into the very fabric of American Christianity. These are Christian voters. They fell for it. Because of moral majority manipulation around weaponized anti-abortion extremism, more than 81% of evangelicals support Donald Trump, despite the fact that surveys show more than 65% of evangelicals support a woman's right to choose. This is the Bible. It doesn't have a single verse that says banning abortion is a godly priority. Nope, not one verse that says life begins at conception, nor one that says God commands people to vote amoral, incompetent candidates into office because of weaponized anti-abortion extremism. The Bible does contain this verse, though, one that shows biblical law says the life of the pregnant person is more valuable than the potential life of a fetus. This is the Talmud that explains Jewish law and community. It has not a word about banning abortion either, and in fact, allows for the ending of a pregnancy and commands it in a case when a pregnant person's life is in danger or they're in distress. And distress includes financial distress. This is Israel, a place where $4 billion of our tax money goes annually. The Israeli government not only allows abortion, they pay for it, in part with your federally funded tax dollars. The Israeli government also supplies nationalized health care, paid maternity leave. Isn't it ironic, right-wingers, that your tax dollars pay for things in Israel that you oppose here for American citizens? All based upon your bad interpretation of their sacred biblical text. And this guy's desire to manipulate you so his racist college could continue to get federal funding. This is Jesus. Well, the white American MAGA Jesus. This is probably what Jesus looked more like. And he never said one word about banning abortion. Neither did any other biblical writers. And this was from a time when women were hated, owned, and infantilized much more than the evangelical church does today. This is you and your politically religious sect. Are you willing to hear and be introspective about the possibility that you may need to change your mind? The book of Romans says, don't be conformed to the age. Don't be conformed to a mindset or an echo chamber, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind so you can know what is good and right. I'm Unconventional Pastor Paul. I challenge the mindsets of right-wing Christianity in order to give people permission to pursue spirituality without being in bondage to a religion that has been politicized through dogma and propaganda. Thank you for following my content. Please like, share, comment, and go to my website.